everyone, and welcome to the Real Positive Girl podcast with me, Sabrina. This is the show that's going to help you become your best self. And today we are going to do something a little different that I have done in the past for episodes, but I haven't done it in a while. And I was like, it'd be a nice little refresher. So today we're going to talk about how's your mental health and go over questions to check in with yourself, And so I think it'll be really fun and actually a helpful activity for you to do outside of just listening to the show and something you can take into, your everyday life. But before we do that, again, please come join me. Communicate, say hi to me on Instagram, which is at Sabrina Joy Perozo, or you can come join me on Clubhouse if you have access to that app. I'm at Sabrina J Perozo, or you can send me a good old-fashioned email with any questions, comments, concerns, pro requests, feedback, topic suggestions, or just to say hey, hi, and hello to me. Send that to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. I would love to hear from you. So let's jump into the topic. How's your mental health? Questions to check in with yourself. So you need to put yourself first and take care of yourself, which includes being on top of your mental health. It's really important. It's super important. I feel like it's 10 times more important than most of us make it to be completely honest with you, at least the people that I know. And I don't think, I would say 50% of it's on purpose and 50% is not. We just get so busy. But I think a lot of the time we put our mental health on the back burner because other things seem so much more important, right? We either will make it more important, or it feels more important, or someone else in our life makes it more important, So other things seem more important, or other people seem more important, or we just can't fathom taking the time to really assess how we are because we know we aren't good. We know it's not good. And when you know it's not good, you want to procrastinate on having to deal with that problem because it's going to hurt a little bit. There's going to be some pain. So there's going to be some discomfort. And there's probably going to be some stuff you don't know how to handle. And you're going to have to seek help, which is even more of a bear sometimes, or at least in the beginning when you're starting. Like I love getting help. But even sometimes I'm still like, ugh. But it's a bear to get help because if you do have problems with seeking help and being vulnerable and opening yourself up and, adding anyone else into the mix of these intimate details about yourself, it's going to be really hard for you to do that. But it is helpful. It is necessary. It is something that you should do. And, it's the toughest when you are doing well. You need to check yourself and be real. You're doing well, but you're not doing as well as you'd like to, but you really need to check yourself. You need to be real. And you know it, and you'll know that feeling deep down in your heart and your soul and your spirit. And, being real, even with yourself, isn't an easy task. It's not, because no one will know whether you are or not, right? No one will actually know if you keep yourself super 100% real. And you can fake so many emotions, right? Or put on a mask and just pretend you are fine. Super easy. I did it for years and years and years because it's so much easier than having had to directly deal with what I was going through. It's easier just to cover it up and say that you'll deal with it later, but then you never do. But this behavior isn't going to help you become your best self at all. And, here on the show, where I am all about giving you advice and information on how to become your best self, because I think that we all should be continually striving for that until the day that we leave this earth. Because again, there is no ceiling we're going to hit. We're always going to have room to improve and become our best selves in those moments, because our best selves is going to look different over our different seasons and times of our lives as well, right? It's just, and some might feel lower than others, and some might feel higher than others, and some might feel the same. But yeah, this behavior of just being fake and pretending that you're fine and not actually addressing anything will not help you become your best self. You won't even really know who you are if you continue with this type of behavior. You'll lose who you actually are. And that's where I was for the longest time. And I am slowly understanding who I truly am, because I pretended to be someone not and hide everything and be a people pleaser and a perfectionist for so long, because it's so much easier to fit into someone else's mold, camouflage yourself into other situations than to be your own person and stand on your own 2 feet. So I'm sure I'm not alone in the feelings that I am expressing here. So I want you to know that if you are struggling with these things, I am struggling right there with you. So don't worry. And I've been in your shoes. Generally, I can't say that I've experienced everything that everyone has. That's impossible. So yeah, just know I get you. I get you. So taking the time to evaluate how you're doing by asking yourself some in-depth questions, some in-depth questions can really help you get an idea of what you should work on. And, as long as you are truthful with yourself, this will work. And doing this weekly is a really good start to checking in with yourself because, I think there's a way that you could definitely incorporate the questions I'm going to ask and any other ones that you can look up on the good old Google on the internet and maybe have like daily questions that you ask yourself, and whether you do it out loud or in a journal or type it on the computer or whatever you want to do, or maybe do a voice memo on your phone. I don't know. However you want to do it, to record it if you want to, or just say it out loud to yourself during your quiet time or meditation. Just have questions every day, but that might be a lot for someone. Even just one question every day, that might be a lot for you. That's totally fine. No worries. Maybe you can just set aside some time weekly and be able to go through some of the questions that I'm going to share with you in a moment. So here are some questions to ask yourself to check in on your mental health. I do have 6 questions that I think would be super helpful for you. So the first question is, what's taking up most of your headspace right now? So for me, if I was thinking about this question, I would be like, okay, well, what's taking up most of my headspace? What is actually on my mind all of the time? And, be real with yourself. Wow, was that an accent? Be real with yourself. I'm sorry. Be real with yourself. Actually ask yourself, what is taking up space? Not necessarily like, oh, well, I have a lot of things to do and I'm busy and I have school or I have work or I have like commitments. That's great, right? Those things are always going to be in your mind, but really get down a little bit deeper than the skin level, right? Be like, okay, am I currently having a lot of worry? Am I having a lot of anxiety? Am I having a lot of resentment? Do I feel depressed? Do I feel like I'm constantly thinking about how I am not enough, or how I really want to accomplish my goals, or how I want to figure out how to go after my dreams, or how I want to figure out how I want to quit my job, or how I want to figure out how to make my relationship work better, right? What is actually taking up a chunk of your mind space that is really deep and intimate and something that you can be vulnerable about? Don't do all the surface level stuff of like, oh, I have so many commitments. Like, we all have commitments to some extent, some more than others for sure, but really decide to dive deep with that question, and it'll help you really just, again, be real with yourself and understand what is really contributing to any sort of struggles that you may be going through. The second question is, have you been having trouble with sleep? So it's a super easy question, and like people might just be like, no, I'm fine. But again, really ask yourself, are you having trouble sleeping? So are you having trouble falling asleep? Are you having trouble staying asleep when you do end up going to sleep? Are you having trouble waking up? Do you feel super foggy and out of it and like super tired and drained and have a headache, or just are waking up with worries, or immediately jump on your phone and don't allow yourself to just kind of like gracefully, slowly wake up, right? Or are you upset when you have to wake up? Do you feel like you never get enough sleep, even though you are actually getting 8 hours of sleep, right? Do you feel like you need to find a way to get 9 or 10 because you're just really exhausted? Do you feel like you need to take naps during the day, and is that contributing to any poor sleep that's happening in the evening? These are all great questions to ask yourself. And so for me, example, because I don't mind being vulnerable with you guys and open. So for me, am I having trouble sleeping? Yeah, I am. I'm having trouble like staying asleep. I am seeing my doctor about that and trying to figure out what's going on. We think it's like some sort of like hormone levels or something that's happening in my body with that. But then also, sometimes I wake up and I feel tired, but it's also because I'm not getting enough sleep. I know that, but it's important for me to be real about that. Be like, Sabrina, you're just not going to bed at time. You're on time. You are just staying up way too late, which is facts. These are all facts, right? And even though you're telling yourself facts, like things you already know, it's really just putting those things out in the forefront of being like, listen, you know that what you're doing is not healthy for you. How can we change this? What should we do? What do we need to take out of our life to put into our life to make it better, right? This is how we're real with ourselves and really checking in. So, have you been having trouble with sleep? The third question to ask yourself is, what are you grateful for right now? This is something that I like to practice every single day. I've been trying to figure out a really cool way to incorporate it on social media. At first I was for a couple of days I was doing like lives in the morning, but I realized a lot of people that follow me are not on in the morning, which is totally fine. Not my morning time. And so I'm trying to find another way to really incorporate gratitude in every single day. I'm thinking about maybe doing like reels or something, because I just want there to be this like simple reminder of like, hey, let's just remember to be grateful today. Let's just remember like we can be grateful for the super tiny things. We don't just have to be grateful for the big things. We can be grateful for, the food on our food in our stomachs, the clothes on our back, the roof over our head, the money in our bank account, our jobs, our family, our friends. Yes, we should definitely be grateful for those things all of the time. But we also be grateful for being able to like go out and get a really good cup of coffee, or being able to go on a date with your spouse or your partner, or really having a really good show that you're enjoying watching on like Netflix or Hulu or whatever. Or having that really good conversation with a friend of yours, meeting a really cool person that you'd like to get to know as a friend over time. These are all things that you can be grateful for that are super small, but super still significant to you. So ask yourself what you're grateful for. This actually, again, you should do this every single day because it'll be a better practice for you, but it will also be able to shift your mindset to humble yourself a little bit if you feel like you're making things in your life a little bit more dramatic than they should. I know we all do this. It's okay. Don't have any shame in your game. I struggle with this too. But also just to help you live more in the positive side of your life and realize how many blessings you have despite what hard things you may be going through, and not diminishing those in any way, but just continuing to keep your eye on the positives to help you get through those negative times. Okay, so the fourth question I have for you is, what is something you can do in the next 2 days that would be good for you? So like, what would actually like benefit you as a person? Like, what would make you feel good? What would make you feel like you're taking care of yourself? What would make you feel like, you're benefiting yourself? So for me, in the next 2 days, I don't know if I could do it in the next 2 days, but I would like to, is schedule a massage. I just know that it'll feel so good to take care of myself, take care of my body that way. I would benefit from it so much because I work out like 5 days a week. And I am not the best at stretching on my own. So it'd be nice to really get someone in there to really deeply massage and help me just like, stretch out some of those muscles and stuff. That would be really great. Something else I can do for myself in the next 2 days is allow myself to sleep in and not wake up and feel like I need to run around and do chores and this, that, and the other. Something else I could do for myself in the next 2 days is to just go out and take a walk on my own, and just go out for an hour and not worry about, what my husband needs, what my daughter needs, anything that my business needs. I would just go out and just enjoy a nice little walk on my own. And so, like you said, like I said, you can just pick whatever you think will be best for you, but you don't have to pick anything that's like super expensive or it's going to cost you a bunch of money. Like I named stuff that did cost money, and then I named stuff that didn't cost money, right? So I can get a massage. Yes, it costs money. Or I can go on a long walk without worrying about it. That doesn't cost money. I can sleep in. That doesn't cost money, right? So you can choose things. It's not all about just spending money on yourself. It's also just about finding ways to take care of yourself. Even for you, something that you can do in the next 2 days that would be good for you. Maybe that actually is like going back onto your exercise regimen or working out because maybe you haven't had time. Maybe you put everyone else's needs before yours. So just consider that. It can be literally anything that would be good for you. Okay, so the fifth question, second to last, is do you have anything to forgive yourself for? Now, this can be a tough question because a lot of times we will hold things against ourselves and we won't even realize it. We won't forgive ourselves for it. We won't forgive ourselves for making mistakes. or going through failures, or maybe hurting someone's feelings, or just not knowing any better, but still holding it against ourselves because we know we were in the wrong, or we know we just didn't do the right thing, right? Even if we hurt someone else and they have already forgiven us, but we still choose not to forgive ourselves. So if you have anything like that you're holding on to and you're making yourself feel shameful about it, you're making yourself feel guilty about it, you're really just trashing yourself because of these things, let it go. Forgive yourself and move on. There is not going to be anything beneficial in holding on to that. You're not teaching yourself a lesson. You're not putting yourself in your place. You're really hurting yourself more than actually just forgiving yourself and letting it go. Because if you just learn from the situation and move forward, you got a really good and great experience and lesson in what to do better next time. And you should just be grateful for that and move forward. I think you should. So just if you have anything that you're holding against yourself, just try to forgive yourself. Understand that perfection doesn't exist. No one's perfect except for Jesus. And just continue to accept that and move forward in your life and know that it's going to be okay. You're going to still be a fantastic person. And the last question that I have for you is, are you spending time with people that are good for you? So, birds of a feather flock together. People that are the same generally congregate together or spend time together. But sometimes we will insert ourselves in groups of people that are not beneficial to us. They're not a positive influence on us. They're actually negative, or they're nothing. They're just people that are kind of exactly like you and all stagnant and not moving forward and not doing anything to better themselves and not doing anything to figure out what their future is going to look like, right? And maybe they're also not checking in on themselves. They're not trying to, make sure their mental health is in as best tip-top shape as it could. So you really should evaluate the people that you have in your life. Sometimes it can be really hard to let someone go or just step out of that friend circle because that's all you know, right? And that's all you've experienced. But I'm telling you that if you feel crummy with those people, but you feel like you don't have to be with them. You can take a step back, take a breather, and understand that, yes, you might be lonely for a little bit, but if you put yourself out there to make new friends or really just get in different circles and try new hobbies or maybe like go to a new gym or go to a new, yoga studio, meet new people at work or at church or whatever, like neighborhood, community groups you're in, whatever it is, even online, making friends online. That's what I do right now. It's better. It's better than like continuing to put yourself in this place where it's just not helping you, right? You're just exposing yourself to continual negative feedback and you're inputting that into your mind and you're allowing that to drive you daily of the decisions you make and how you feel about things and how you feel about yourself and how you view the world. And maybe it's more cynical than others, or maybe it's more negatively than others, or maybe you're starting to develop a victim mindset because victim mentality is a big thing within the people that you know and you spend your time with. But none of those things are healthy. None of those things are going to help you become your best self. So it's important for you to really evaluate who you're spending your time with and try to take a step back from those relationships and friendships. If I want to say if you can, but you should, even if you feel like you can't, you should try and really put yourself first and wanting to be strong in who you are and what you're all about. So just another question to ask yourself. So those are the 6 questions I have for you. Again, go ahead and jump online, go to Google and look at all of the questions that you could ask yourself. You can literally just type in mental health questions and it'll give you a plethora of ideas of things to ask yourself, journal entries, all of that stuff. So that if you want to ask yourself different questions, if you didn't like these ones or you just want more. So consider doing that because I don't have all the answers. I just want to give you some of them. But that's all I have to talk to you today about in regards to how's your mental health with questions to check in with yourself. So thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, with me, Sabrina. You guys are amazing. Thank you for sharing, downloading, listening to the show. I appreciate it so, so much. Again, check below for the show notes and also where to find me on Instagram at Sabrina Joy Perozzo, where to find me on Clubhouse, which is at Sabrina J Perozzo, or to send me an email with any questions, comments, concerns, prayer requests, feedback, topic suggestions, or to just say hey, hi, and hello to me. You can send that to realpositivegirlpodcast@gmail.com. I'm like, what? How do I forget that email? So anyway, thank you so much for listening. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.